Okay, so very early in my meditation journey, I was told by my teachers. So I've had a lot of teachers, and everyone gave the same message that meditation or mindfulness is not a path of having blissful feelings, or it's not a path of having pleasures. It's not a path where you get all good thoughts and blissful thoughts and peaceful thoughts. No. Then what is meditation? What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is basically connecting with the present moment, connecting with the reality of the present moment, connecting with the truth of the present moment. Yeah. Now that truth can be pleasant, and many times it can also be unpleasant. Okay, does it mean that we withdraw from the unpleasant moments? No, it does not mean that. Mindfulness or meditation basically is training the mind to be equanimous with both pleasant and unpleasant thoughts, or pleasant and unpleasant situations, or emotions, or body sensations, anything. But the natural tendency of the mind is to cling to the pleasant and to push away the unpleasant. That's the natural tendency of the mind, right? So, what happens is that even though we know this, even though we know that mindfulness or meditation is not a path towards having blissful feelings or pleasant feelings, still on certain level, we crave for those feelings. We crave for positive feelings. We crave for pleasant feelings. Now, that would have been a good strategy, but the problem is that the pleasant feelings don't last. They are very, very temporary. And so when we get unpleasant feelings, we feel as if we are doing something wrong. We feel that way because the mind is just not comfortable dealing with the unpleasant feelings. So the natural tendency of the mind is to push away the unpleasant feelings. So does that mean that we give up on this path? No, it certainly does not mean that. Why? Because we have to understand that even though the natural tendency of the mind is to cling to pleasurable things, to pleasure situations, we might actually miss out on a deeper sense of happiness if we try to cling to these pleasures. So I think there is a need to differentiate between these two terms, pleasure and happiness. So what is a pleasure? Pleasure is just a temporary, positive spike, if you can call it that. A temporary feeling which gives us some sense of fulfillment, right? Happiness, on the other hand, is something which is deeper, something which is more true to ourselves, something which is long lasting than a pleasure. Okay, so coming back to our point, in a pursuit of achieving these pleasures, we might miss out on on a deeper sense of contentment, or on a deeper sense of happiness. Right, so we have to keep that in mind when we actually sit for meditation, because initially it can be unpleasant. So it does not mean that you are doing anything wrong. It is, in fact, we are just this very the very discomfort that we have with the unpleasant feelings, that is what we're actually trying to understand, or on some level get rid of. Yeah. So yes, it's essential to understand that we should aspire to be happy and not crave for these pleasurable situations, because the more we practice, the more aware we become happier. Okay, so going after pleasurable experiences is not really a good strategy, because it can come in way of our happiness, and the same can be translated into our life as well. Okay, so one example that I like to give is extracting a bad tooth. So if you have a tooth which is paining, which is aching because it's decaying, even though we know that truth, even if it hurts us daily, we still don't want to go to the dentist on some level. Why? Because we are scared of the dentist. We are scared of the pain that we might experience when the dentist extracts our tooth. Yeah. What, however, we need to understand is that, when, even though it's the pain will be there for a while, when the tooth is actually extracted, there will be a deeper sense of contentment. So we do not listen to the tendency of the mind to cling to the pleasurable situation and push away the unpleasant situation. Okay, so another example that I would probably give is this, my own example. Let's take this video series. Okay, so when I started this, my mind was, so when I was doing the first video, my mind was throwing all sorts of warning signs to me. It was trying to inculcate fear in me. it was coming up with a lot of possible unpleasant scenarios. Okay, so let's say, what if people don't like my videos, or what if I don't look good on camera? What if I stammer or stutter? What if I don't speak good English? What if they notice that I have a couple of gray hair on my head? So the mind will keep on throwing these fears towards you. Why? Because again, the tendency of the mind is to cling to the pleasant situation and push away the unpleasant. The mind could foresee that there could be unpleasant situations for me in the future. If I get hate messages, if people ridicule me for making these videos, there could have been such situations. Fortunately, I've been lucky so far, but there could be situations in the future where I would be criticized for my videos. Does it mean that because of these potential unpleasant situations I stop making these videos? Probably not. Why? Because a deeper sense of contentment exists when I make these videos. I get a different high when people like my videos or when they comment on my videos. So that gives me a deeper sense of contentment. So rather than listening to the mind's tendency of clinging to the pleasant, it's a good strategy to just understand that is a trick of the mind and not fall for it. So okay, you are sending me warnings, you are sending me those thoughts, but it's okay. I am still going to make these videos. Why? Because this happiness is worth more to me than just clinging to these pleasurable, tiny pleasurable instances. Right? So I hope this made sense to you all. The bottom line is, maybe we need to reassess and do things which give us more happiness, and maybe we need to stop our dependency or reduce our dependency gradually on these pleasant situations. If those pleasant situations are in our way, or if the pleasurable situations are causing a hindrance in our path of reaching to more deeper level of happiness. Yeah. So bye bye, and let me know what you think of this video.